Bud Leroux opened it in 1948 and sold it to Russ Jacobson in 1955, who was my boss when I started here in 1968. And he owned it until 1985, at which point Alex and I bought it and have had it ever since.
My husband and I grew up here. I grew up on Queen Anne, he grew up in Magnolia. And we both went to Queen Anne High School. We both graduated from the University of Washington. We have seen the children of the people that we grew up with. And in turn, their parents started the store, or their grandparents. So yes, it's multi-generational. And it's amazing how small Seattle is. Once you've lived on Queen Anne or Magnolia, you always want to get back to it. It's kind of a hidden jewel within the city because you have very much a community spirit and feel living within a big city. And that's the exception instead of the rule.
Yes.
It was a men's and boys store when I started working here. And it was, then it went to a men's store, and now it's a men's and women's store. So from the standpoint of what we're selling, that's obviously the biggest changes is you dropped one segment and added another over that period of time. When you're looking at the big picture for the obviously in the early 70s there was a big polyester surge. You know, the 70s were kind of new stretch fabrics and that were very popular at the time. Leisure suits, lots of, we carried Johnny Carson suits and leisure suits. They were a hoot. If you remember, if you look at any of his old stuff, the lapels, that's what we were selling, was those big lapels. And just prior to that, it was a little more traditional. Prior to that time, in the 60s, it was a little more narrow lapels, narrow ties, slightly more jeans. Well, the jeans thing kicked in the late 60s. Jeans and tie-dye. And so that was in here, too, at the same time. So it was as I say, it went from a men's and boys store to a men's store. And so we had all that stuff for the jeans and t-shirt type stuff, and then all the way through Johnny Carson suits and lots of other more traditional suits too. But then in '81 we added the women's department, and which really took off well, and that has been for the last 22 years a very big part of the store now.
Wow.
Fashion has gotten more contemporary. We're related separates. When we first started the women's department, which started in 1980, it was very much more tailored. And now it's more contemporary.
So there's a lot of trying things and seeing how they go, and then falling into a pattern where you know what's selling and you stick with it. And then that's both men's and women's. It's very similar. The women's is a little faster than the men's. They're more. The women are in the store more often than the men are, and there's a lot more changes that go on in the women's. Whereas the men's is a little more stable, a little. So it's things that change in the men's change a lot slower.
Right.
But they do change.
Women have new looks each and every season, and there are 4 to 6 distinct seasons for a women's wear. Men, you guys wear khaki pants spring, summer, fall, and winter. I mean, sometimes you get cold and you want a corduroy or a wool, but it doesn't change that much. You wear black and brown pants, and khaki, and maybe some green. Occasionally you'll throw a pair of white ones, and your shoes are maybe 3 colors. Where women, we can have 18 different colors going at one time. And it changes from spring to summer to fall to holiday to cruise. So it's always changing. It's a much faster paced business. I was fashion's challenging. And we women, we like change. You men are a little bit more stable.
We introduce things, but you're always listening to what people want, and obviously when the merchandise is what they want, it sells quicker, and so you're ending up, you focus on those things. But you're always introducing things, kind of leading the pack, so you don't look like every other store.
So you have to constantly be aware of the new looks and the new trends out there.
Actually, for the last, say 5, 6, 7, 8 years, lines like Tommy Bahama, which is a little more casual, and Cutter and Buck, which is a little more casual, somewhat, it can be business casual, but it's really nicer casual things. Those kind of lines really rock.
We're lucky in the lines that we carry and the representation that we have. Very few of the other stores in the Seattle area carry the same lines we do. And people that are familiar with those lines will go to outside their area to seek them out.
And then we dress them up a little bit with St. Croix, which is probably one of the finest knit houses that's still in the United States. St. Croix is in Winona, Minnesota. It's an operation that has the most high-tech machinery, knitting mills, but they have a cottage industry of women that still do all the hand looping. So they've taken the high-tech and the low-tech and blended it into garments that are second to none in the world. So we sell a lot of that because it's good in a store like this. It works in a smaller store. It's not a real big department store line. They can't make enough. So you take those 3 labels would be very important for the last 10 years. And then all the dress clothes that go along with it, the suits and the sport coats. I like this business. I enjoy the people. I enjoy selling. I enjoy running and putting together an operation that all the pieces come together. That is fun to me. It's hard work, but it is fun. I mean, I look forward to coming to the store every day, as opposed to, oh my God, I got to go to work. So and if I were working for a large corporation, I probably wouldn't be as happy, because there'd be so many layers you got to go through to get something done the way you want it done. And I just never thought that I would really enjoy that as much as being in a small business, working for someone else for a lot of years, and then obviously ending up with it myself, and just carrying on with the same concepts I've always liked. So I like what I do.
Great.
And it's a tough business, but any small business is tough. They're all have rough spots to go through, but so I just as soon do this and come down here to the village every day as anything else I could think of. That's obviously because I'm still doing it after all these years. So it's been great.
You specialize in what you do. You specialize in a category of merchandise that you handle. You stay true to that. You may change lines. Lines may come and go, but you have to be known as something. A lot of the department stores are doing commodity and moderate merchandise. We do better merchandise. As times get economically more challenging, the stores that come and go are the ones that change what they do, and they no longer have an identity, and that identity becomes blurred. And people think, well, why should I go there because I can get it here? If they don't specialize in something, whether it be something, it's got to be multi-purpose. Both their customer service and the lines that they carry, and keep it special and unique. When they lose their uniqueness, they lose their edge, and that's the death of a store.